Okay, so it's ready. It's going. So basically what I'm going to do, let me zoom again. Let me maximize, and then I'll zoom so you can see the sidebar here, the Solution Explorer. So over here, we have controllers, right? If you go down the list, you see down here the controllers. There's the book controller that we made with the wizard. And then there's a home controller that you get for free. And what I want to do is modify that home controller. So I'm just going to click on the home controller. Okay. And when I do that, I think I'm going to minus this out again because is this big enough from the back? The code? None of you are all the way back. So this is the home controller. The code for this is going to be remarkably easy. Right, so we've got, this one has about and it has contact. We could modify those if you want. I don't think that was part of this assignment. Did I read through that? I mean, particularly the about and the contact, but we're going to modify the index. One of the things that I want to do with the index is I want to pass the model through. It's really, as I said, it's really easy, and you can do this with grant types. First, though, before I can get access to the model, I have to add a using. So I'm going to say using, and mine is called Book Review Spring 18. So if you're doing the community assistant, if you're doing the book review with me, whatever the name of your application is, dot models. Whoa, I hate how my mouse is floating there. And a semicolon, don't forget the semicolon. So what we've done is we've made a reference to the models library for our assignment. That'll give us access to all of the, all the things in this folder over here. So one of the things that we want to do, I'm also going to do, we want particular access to the entities, and I'm going to do it in here because we only need it in here. I'm going to do book review spring 18 book review DB entities. I'm just going to call it DB, and I'm going to say it equals new book review DB entities. And again, if you're doing community assist, that would be community assist entities. So that gives us directly a connection to the models that were created by that wizard, by the ADO entities wizard. So this is a connection to those specific models that were pre-created for us. I want to pass these to the view because we're going to display them on the index. So I am going to say DB. DB is our context, right, for DB entities. I'm going to say categories for me, and I'm going to do dot to list. So I just go down to to list, and then do a parentheses on that. What? You would do grant types, DB grant types to list if you're doing the assignment while you're doing my demo. So this is, I mean, one of the things that Microsoft has tried to do is make all of this amazingly easy, right? Minimize coding. The reason why they want to minimize coding, coders cost money. The fewer hours that they spend doing mundane things, the better, right? So we're making a reference to the entities, and then we're getting the categories, which is one of the collections subclasses because category is the table. Categories is the collection of category items. And we're turning it to a list, which means that we're basically making it something you can loop through. That's actually all we have to do on the controller. Are you guys got me so far?
So 3 edits, line 6, 14, and 15.
Right, yeah. So tell you what I should do. I'll do some comments. Something I almost never do, which you should always do.
Should we take that?
You don't have to. This one has actually no. God, I hate how things are working on the hint. These are just comments. So these are just comments that maybe help you understand later. I'm not very good at commenting these things while we do them because it takes time. The comments don't make anything happen, right? But they are useful, and you actually should comment. Should comment even more than a good commenter would go through each of these methods and explain what each one does. And at the top of the class would describe what the controller does, but again, that takes time. It is useful, and if you're working with other people, it actually could be essential. So that's all that there is for the controller, though. It's that simple, 3 lines of code, right?
Should we build it?
You can. It doesn't matter. If you build it, you'll see if you have any errors, I guess. Typically, the errors that people would have at this point are any kind of misspelling and any kind of missing semicolon. The other thing is it's all case sensitive, right? So if you did a capital DB there, this needs to be a capital DB. Everything is case sensitive. These have to have a capital T, capital L. So it just, the case sensitivity can get you in trouble too once in a while. So we did this for the index. So what we need to do is we need to go to the index page under home. So if we look at the models, let me zoom up again. There's keyboard controls to do this, but they don't work. What it does is it transfers into the under, not the virtual machine, but the windows under it.
We go to views.
Yeah, so we go to views and we want to go to home. Right, home is what it gave us originally. And like we saw in that thing, there's about, contact, and index. We just changed the index controller, so we're going to go to index. Now there's a lot of stuff here, and I'm going to minus out again. That we don't need. So there's a few things that I'm going to do here. One thing is you're doing community assist. I'm going to do book reviews here. This is just the heading that's going to appear at the top of the page. I don't care about these links, so I'm just going to cut them out. Those are just links to learn more about ASP.NET. I actually don't care, for what it's worth, I actually don't care about anything else on the page. I'm going to leave the Jumbotron. The Jumbotron is that big square thing at the top. That's what, it's one of Bootstrap's things. So what I have here, if I can move this up. So I got rid of everything except the view bag. You want to leave that, and we're going to add something up there. I left the Jumbotron. I named this book reviews. You might want to do yours as community assist or something up there if you're doing the assignment. Generally, it's up to you guys if you want to try doing the assignment while I'm doing it, or if you just want to do the practice and then do the assignment because it'll give you more practice that way. So before I can do the table here, I need to add a reference to the model. I actually don't like this about Microsoft's. Theoretically, the view should be independent of the model, but we have to make a reference to it. So I'm going to do @ The @ means that you're doing scripting, right? And it's scripting is called Razor, if anybody ever asks you. I'm going to do model. Got to type it. So I want model. And it comes up with a capital M, but I'm pretty sure it needs to be lowercase. And then you want the name of your assignment, except I'm going to do, actually not a square thing there, enumerable. It's in the thing there. It's hard to spell. This is an interface that guarantees that you can loop through something. And even though we've passed it as a list, which has that built into it, it demands it here. It only demands it if you're going to list, if you're going to loop through things. It doesn't demand it if you're just doing a form or something like that. Does that make sense? Basically, what this says is that it is iterable. I mean, that you can like number it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, the things in it, and that you can loop through them. And then it has a, it's basically a generic, which we don't have to worry about. I'm going to do book review. The name of my assignment .models. And what I passed was categories. So I'm going to do category. And that's all I need up there. It's a lot.
Is it community assist or grant?
Well, so if you're doing community assist, right, it would be the name of your project .models.grant type. I should just do it with you guys since you guys are kind of doing yours on the way. Some of the others will be more complicated, and you might want to do the sample and the. But anyway, I'm going to do this. So I have a reference to the model category. We need that because we're passing it in, but it needs to understand what it looks like. Have you ever done in any other language lists that have objects in them? Yeah, I mean, because a list can store a class. And what this is basically a list with objects. And each object is a complex type, right? And it needs to understand those complex types. There's a lot of object-oriented stuff going on underneath here that may be a bit mysterious if you've never done anything object-oriented, I guess. So this part we kind of did before. I'm just going to do a table. I'm going to give it the class equals table just because I like the way that the Bootstrap table looks. You don't have to do that, but it'll look different. It won't be as pretty. I'm going to do a table row. Luckily, it handled my thing. I'm going to do TH for table heading, and I will use add HTML dot display name for, which is in the list down there. Do a parentheses. I'm going to do model lambda, oops, and this will be model dot and it shows we got the category key and category name. I'm going to do both just so I have something to show besides one field. If you like, the easiest way to do the next one is just to copy, paste, and change this to category name.
I'll display name 4.
You didn't close the parentheses.
Oh, yeah, both of them need that. Thank you. Good eye. There. Does that look okay? So what that's going to do is it's going to put the headings on the table. And then what we're going to do is we'll just loop through the rows. So I am going to do a at for each. Okay, so for each is a type of loop. And I'm going to say for each var item, and var is a kind of a built-in data type for complex types. Does that make sense? Like category, you know, or grant type for complex types. And I'm going to say in model, and I'm never really sure if that's a cap or not. I think it is a capped one. If it doesn't work, then we'll decap it. Okay, curly braces. Not getting errors yet. That's a good sign. And then I'm going to just do table rows again, because there will be a row for every element in the list. And instead of TH, it'll be TD at HTML dot, and instead of display name for, it's just display for. And that displays the thing. So I'm going to do model. And in this case, it's item because that's what we're looping through. That's the variable we're doing. And I'm going to do category key. And then I'm going to copy that and do category name. Now you guys have 4 things, which you can decide if you want to display. There's the categories that they are. There's the category name. You don't necessarily need to display the category key. I mean the grant type key. There's a grant type name. Grant type description is I'm not sure. Is there a grant type description? Yep. And then there's a maximum and minimum value. So you can display all of those or just the name and another. I'm not too worried about which fields you do. Do at least 2 of them, but you can do all of them if you want. This should, I just need to change this to name. This should be just about it, yeah. Well, so the categories in my case, this isn't in the, so this is in the book review, not in the community assist. The categories are things, types of books, they're like genres. Grant type. So you can't log in?
Oh, for right now, yeah, it's weird, like, something's going on with the registration.
Oh, your Canvas.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's fine. So grant type is what you want. If you put it up on GitHub,
Yeah, get it on GitHub.
if you get it on GitHub, when you do get back on Canvas, they'll all be there, right? I can go back. One of the things, if you do it all as one project, I can always look back and forward. And so if, because it's will all be there, excuse me. I'm going to run this.
course we gotta build it, right?
What? You don't have to build.
Oh, that's right, yeah, running.
Running builds it. Although it's a little faster to build before you run.
Okay.
So this first assignment is about modifying an existing controller, right? Modifying an existing. Yeah, and there's a video of this, and I will post the code to GitHub. So it's slowly coming.
Oh, I did something.
If you guys finish on it, we're moving pretty fast because it's a small class.
And mine had a weird format, Steve. Book review.
Give me a second. I want to make sure mine comes up. And then if it's okay, then I'll come look.
At display. At display. Oh, never mind. I forgot the TR wrapped around it. I forgot to encapsulate it.
Mine is really slow. The yours looks like yours came up fine, and yours, so you're done with the assignment. So I have to figure out what to do. Did you have to run it again? Yeah. I mean, no, not that. Do a one on that. Maybe it's just a one. The other thing is,
Did I connected in community access? I think it's I connected it wrong with access because I didn't find like brand type key. I have 4 keys like brand and
so are you at 2017?
I don't know how to look that actually. You know how to.
So it looks like it's. Let's look at this. So let's do first capital C.
I'm just surprised that you
And then do, if you want to say 2017 after before the end. This is all right. It's just, I'm just not sure. What do you get?
Oh, there you go.
Oh, the TR's gotta be within. Yeah, that's inside. Okay, alright, it's gotta be.
So it's community underscore assistant.
So this is not the one, right?
You could probably use it, it's just a couple of. It's up to you.
Okay, I'll do it.
Are you guys doing that? Yours goes out.
Yeah, mine's weird though. Double D. Yeah, that's really.
No, it's possible if it does it twice, it's not good code. It's possible that if I make that so one of the things that I do, let's look at your, and then so, yeah, stop running. Right click on that. Somehow I think I just got it there. So where it starts in food there.
Yes.
Travel, types of,
I wonder if it's a random option points.
it might have. So that's not good. Because it was created for the.
So
Check some of the other questions.
I have a question for you. So now that I did it that way, how would I?
Very good.
Change it.
I think you have to copy.
I don't know. That.
The same thing.
Yeah.
Like it's an Excel file or something.
Again.
Yeah, and just don't,
You need to do this stuff in,
it'll ask you for
Index.
license and,
Where am I? Hold on a second. I took some stuff out, but so putting in
that's good. Or I suppose you could,
our item.
maybe click there, copy it, or you can copy over it. But I think you have to actually copy.
At least this week.
it is fine.
You should-
I should have did it.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's.
The model, the item.
Item. This item.
So, yeah, just, you know, and then I should have it similar around with, yeah.
Especially category. Should be granted. And granted.
Right, type key.
This is for the center.
Yeah, I know.
So then it's just needs to lay out.
Send on here.
No, just because this is just, and it's not grants, it's.
It's confusing because he's doing one project.
It should be grant types. It's not a program. Yeah.
Since I changed it, since I put it on my GitHub, should I just be able to? What would be
Well, so I'm not sure. How I select things are possible. Right. So is that the right group?
Yeah.
So, so click on the changes. Yeah, well, that's fine. Or the, even just the general. Yeah, I can, I know what that is. All right, so we make troubleshoot this one. And then. No, we had a there. I have more than that. 40,000. 40,000. Yeah. Why would it be 40,000? So I will say that when this works fine, it looks fine.
Yeah.
And when it doesn't work.
Oh, yeah, it don't work.
Yeah. All right, so let me do the commit up here real quick, and then I will, I'll come and help individually if need be. So if everything works and you want to commit to GitHub, now, as I said, when this works well, it works perfectly, but it can fail. When it fails, it's real hard to troubleshoot.
Before you commit, it said when you do the indexing, you also have to use the layout and home view to modify, so you can reflect the community it says. So
Yeah, well, so I sort of did. I mean, I changed that. I think I changed the other one last time too.
Oh, the shared layout.
Yeah, if you go to layout, I think so there's the menus. I did change the title to book reviews. If I did instead of my ASP application, well, actually that's okay. That's a footer. I did change this action link to best reads book reviews. I mean, we kind of did that last time.
Okay.
So I'm gonna, when you do the commit, and this is hard, let's see if I can zoom for this. They make it really hard to see. So down at the bottom in this blue thing here is this little pencil, this edit, it means edit. That means how many are to commit, because we changed 2 files, right? So if I click on that, that little pencil, it takes it a moment. It opens up the Team Explorer. It wants me to commit, and this is where you can enter, like this is the modify home or grant types, whatever you want. So the idea, it makes it real easy if you name these like the assignments or something, and I can find them. But in all honesty, if I have access to your GitHub, I can find what I'm looking for. I know what each assignment is. I can just go in there and find it. So, but I'm going to commit. There is actually a commit and push. I'm going to try that. Okay, so now it's pushing the current branch up. If you do it in 2 steps, you can commit and then you can push. Pushing is what actually puts it on the web. Layout is under shared. So if you open that little shared, and then you double click layout. And so if you change like application name to community assist or whatever. So it says that it succeeded. So let's see if it did. So I'm going to go to, and I'll help you do this, but I'm going to go to github.com/spconger. And repositories, Bookspring. So it says it was updated 43 seconds ago. So if I go in there, I open the folder, I go into controllers, I look at the home controller. Notice it has my code there. So I know that it did update. And to turn in, and then I'll come and help you as much as I can. I will say I'm not good at troubleshooting the GitHub stuff. And So this is, let's go back to just this folder, or even right there. And I'm going to copy that link. And if I go to Canvas, so one of the things that I need to do in order to show this is I'm going to change to student view. And don't turn in the sample one. Okay, I mean, if you did the sample one, don't do that one. Turn in the community assist one. I am going to change my, I guess let's just go to the 172. I have to change, you guys don't have to do this, but I have to go to settings and change to student view.
Trying to remember what I did.
So in student view, grant types, submit assignment. And one of the ways to submit it is website URL. And just paste that and submit. And that works really well for me because, as I said, I can just click on the link and go right to your GitHub. I'll come help if you guys need it now.
And so, what I hear last time, so on the shared layout, I just add this line here, this books index. Books.
Yeah, you shouldn't have, well, you can do that if, but the index from home is already linked.
Okay, well, the thing is, otherwise, it's like, do it.
Well, you did it for the books one, right?
Right, so just go through the book.
Yeah.
Trying to get with you with the lecture.
Did you get it up? Okay.
So that's yours, and then I'd like to add it to mine.
Right.
And then,
Looks like it's already. So, do you have an account on there?
yeah,
And you already did it, right? Book review screens.
Uh-huh.
And that had the new one set up.
right.
So we open it up. Let's look at control. Let's look at home.
Okay, fine.
Yeah, and it's got it. Got the code, so it works.
And then so you say, after I finish this, I can just copy that. Like,
That link, and then just paste it as.
Yeah.
So if you go here, though, so, but this looks fine, this looks
I'm
fine.
not sure I did.
But I click here,
Well, so let's look at that, because I don't know if you have that. Stop. I'm running.
oh. I'll show you that.
So under views, there's no books folder.
Well, I thought I saw it on yours.
There is on mine, but not on yours.
Okay, but I'm trying to just keep up with the class notes, so this is the book review I'm doing.
Well, so if you're doing the books, right, what we did and what you haven't done is we did the wizard with the controller.
Oh, okay. All right.
And so we created the books with the wizard.
Okay. Got that.
You're good, but you're still having problems.
I think I may have figured it out.
So did it, that's okay, good. wonder what made it copy of it. So the copy is probably good.
Yeah.
You know, that might be better. Go directly from where the actual files are. Rather than take
Oh,
that's right.
I don't know, with all of this.
These underlying, these are just. Maybe green.
Trying to figure out why.
What about? I don't know if you want to do this, but like do
And what?
Because you're making it figure out.
I should give you the link.
Sure.
And, is that one that's not on my board?
You have to do copies.
Yeah, I'd rather just.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Which you generally want, but every, each time I've done this, it failed for a couple of people, you never figure out why. Yeah, that is. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
When you make changes, you'll have to do it. Yeah, every time you make changes, you need, when you're done with your changes, recommit. And it does, one of the nice things that it does is it keeps, particularly if you give it different commit names, is it gives you, it keeps track of when you do things. If you don't commit, it won't be up there. No, it's not.
Like each row, you know what I mean? Like I ran mine.
I mean, you could try to read
It
it.
was listed as one.
What
No, you didn't.
That is a possibility, though, you know. If you want to, you do it.
We'll wait till next class. What's your formation?
So I was checking.
Yeah. So this is how you do Yeah. So you built it in a system. Yeah.
So do we have to add like grant? Automatic this books and
Identify.
do we have to?
Yeah, that's
Yeah, then I put the little outside, I don't know if I did that.
Yeah, it seems like we should, but I don't know.
Put it in.
Well, this is.
Yeah, but it's still, there's a grant type.
Tell me that's a bad idea.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's, yeah, so Also, it's, yeah, they're using, instead of book review, it'll say, using a space community, let the community assist dot models. And then that's it. So what I do is, I add this little thing, like, well, edit, say, hey, this is, I'm editing a file or something I started with, or something that tells me, hey, it's like a book review, so yeah, I'm editing this line. So I can look at it later.
Oh, yes. So you need a little more.
Yeah, so if you go down to line, so above the review, there's a public action presents. You want to do, community assist. So on line 14, type community assist. So remember, this is book review. So that's my difference. It's like community, whatever you call.
Grant types is a container class.
So now, that's entities.
Oh, okay.
Choose that one, yep. Space. No, you haven't done, it'll work. Parentheses. Not this way. Okay. Yeah. And then there's in review, DB dot. Yeah, in this case, it'll be. Now it's different. So scroll down to, and then pull down. Grant types. This will be grant types. And then you gotta do another dot to list. And, yep. That's it. And also just have that little edit. Just type just do a / capital U. That's it for that one. And so it's like 3 files that you're taking around with me. So in the controller, in the model, and then in the view, and then like the layout.
So let's look at the, so there's that. No, that one's just great.
Yeah. What Syncing's going to do is stuff that's on your on the GitHub. We call that like the master. And then this down here on your client, that's like a clone of the area repository. It's going to be totally matched one to one. So, but you gotta be careful because it might overwrite things. So.
So I'm done. So I need to find you what happens.
Oh, you've already ran it, right? So you just commit. Oh, no, so just hit the green button.
It's not running
Oh, so you just build it? Oh, there's see where you go toolbar, you have file here, then view project build.
Yeah, but like, what do you use?
Right before, well, you want to build as you go, as you add the files and then catch all the gaps. A little about. So, because you've already done the control, you have to also do the views and the right. So remember, you have to go into so in views you have to go look at so now you need now you're trying to do.
I was like, last one, there was.
You need to go to view, right? You gotta go to the. Oh, okay. Yeah, so it's on index. Right, so
Oh,
you gotta do that
okay.
front page again, remember?
Okay.
Yeah, so now you gotta do this where we kept the Jumbotron. Yeah, this page gets dramatically changed. This page got. No, delete lines 8 and 9.
They can.
Just lines 8 and 9.
Okay.
Now delete lines 11 through 31. Now you have to add the table.
Yeah.
We have to add something for.
There's actually nothing in the dash because we're already there. So the only thing, and you did community assist and all that, so let's run it and see what you get. I think that'll be fine. So I think, are most people almost done with the assignment itself? So I'll think about what to talk about next time. So I said we're moving a little fast, but there are some things that will be a little harder. Yep, I think so. Good job. So you want to post it? So let's stop it. And just click where it says 3. So write a commit message. Maybe just say grant type assignment.
Just my name for model space. No, there's no category, remember. Take over the category. Remember, that's what we did.
Actually, I was going to say commit annotation.
So what did it tell us?
So click on sync
Do model. And
and then do any one of these pushes. That pushes. And what it's doing right now is it'll put it up on
this one, you're going to use this, so it's going to be grant.
Maybe we can just, it says it was successful, so let's look at the web page. And, where we get and then refresh that page. So notice there's a grant type assignment to push. If you open that,
You
look
have
at
me
like,
it's a database.
home controller. And Azure. So what you would want to do is just submit, go back to community assist,
Where's your?
and just submit that for the assignment. So where it says web URL under the command. So, yeah. And then submit assignment, website URL, just paste, and you're good. Submit. Are you, is it making some sense? Is that good?
I just don't seem to have random type, data in my thing.
Or maybe when something.
So when I actually have to get into the Here you want to put community assist here. Actually, use rebuild. Let's go to rebuild and see what happens. Okay, that's-
It's got accidentally erased.
Yes, that's a problem.
Okay.
Oh,
So
okay,
you had an
here, here,
I had that
extra.
extra.
Yeah, it wasn't here.
Yeah, just put those two right now. So there's more if you see, there's like more stuff here.
So anyone else, everyone's sort of okay here?
Like this, let's just go.
Anyone not?
Are we good to go?
Yeah, you're good to go. So one of the things you should probably do once you is shut down your virtual machine. So I'm gonna close Visual Studio. And I had SQL Server open for some reason. I'm gonna close that.
Oh, I see.
And then when I can get out of here, I would close the whole thing down, just close Windows inside of it. Hopefully it doesn't update. Yeah, so just power it off. It's safer to do that because it doesn't, it doesn't crash as much that way. Oops.
And then instead of displaying form, it's just a display form.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So, control S and say,
It may, but like.
Yeah. Sure.
I just logged in and I can see my classes. Maybe those are just to go out to the professors and let them know.
Yeah, it's fine. I'm not in a, whenever you're ready. Like I said,
Because I finished this now, I just
Yeah.
send it to you. Should I leave an email for now until I?
you can, or you can wait until you're gonna have access. So you should be able to, once you clear that up, access should come back fairly soon, I would think.
Yeah, I mean, just right now, I can see my classes. So
But you can't
I'm
post.
assuming by today or tomorrow, the Canvas thing should be straightened out.
Yeah, and that's fine. And if it isn't, then you could just zip it and email it to me.
Okay.
But if, hopefully the Canvas,
This
yeah.
week. Okay.
There's no penalty for late. And I think we're a little ahead of schedule, actually.
oh, this is.
In this video,